This is when Black Lightning comes into the show in the Arrowverse. Now, I was happy that Black Lightning in general didn't have any references into the Arrowverse at first because I said, finally, a show that's not part of the Arrowverse looks awesome. Now, there's a little bit of problem with CW making trailers for TV shows. Number one is they use scenes that aren't going to be in the show. Number two, they use sets from other shows to make it seem like it's connected. They used Barry's lab in Black Lightning and showed him making the suit himself instead of showing Gamby. And they instead technically used Jitters as a place where he's talking to his daughters. But in my opinion, I liked Black Lightning. I did not think it was a bad show at all because, to be honest with you, I did not watch the first two episodes because I couldn't find a way to watch them. The third, the fourth, the fifth, all the rest of them episodes I watched except for them two episodes. Now, in general, Black Lightning's first season kind of started off with a great plot, great story, and got even interesting. Then it basically started making Arrowverse references, which I said I like that the show is not connected to the Arrowverse, but now we learn it's connected because even before that, like the intro to the song, like you can look up Black Lightning full intro, it shows the rapper, I don't know who was singing the song, saying, when he says Black Lightning's back, he says before that, he's saying he's the bat in soups. He's referencing Batman them if you listen to the song. But to end it off, Black Lightning was pretty good. But CW was about to take a turn for the worst. A turn for the worst of the Arrowverse yet. And it was coming. Bigger, badder, and worse than ever. I'm a reviewer. I'm in love with you. I hate the Flash season 4, to be honest. Now, Iris as the leader was pretty stupid as she didn't really do anything but sit on the computer like Felicity. Then going off of this, they burned Brain, the Thinker, which isn't a bad villain, instead of having a speedster. But they messed that all up with their story arc. And then going off of that, they even had more horrible storylines with taking out Wally to replace him with Ralph in general, and that's all. I mean, this season kind of went off the hill and went off the Rams. Trying to be lighthearted didn't work at all and turned into an even more sillier show than it was. This season kind of jumped the bandwagon here, turned the show into a horrible show. That's all I'm going to say about it. Wasn't good. It really wasn't. I couldn't even stand this season. I was skipping episodes just to get back to the story arc. Sure, the last seasons had not episodic story, but that was all. Okay, so Crisis on Earth X was the best crossover yet. And it still is because of its story arc. Sure, it had its messed up problems and everything else, but what it maintained to was telling a story, having good character arcs, and this was the better Crisis on Infinite Earth, where it should have been more than just that. I mean, in general, that should have been what Crisis on Infinite Earth was. And this show technically went off of that and just made even better of a show. Because this crossover did more with it. Now, there's stuff in this crossover that don't work. But when it came out, everybody was hyped up for it. I mean, we were getting to see the Nazi Superman, Supergirl, in general. We were getting all that stuff shown in this TV show, and there weren't even anything horrible about it. I mean, sure, there were some horrible scenes, like I said before, but when it came to telling a story and arc, Crisis on Earth X kind of did it. Now, to be honest with you, I'm gonna go on scale and now get into different shows of the spin-offs, like Legends, a little bit of Legends, and a little bit of, that's all really, because that's the last show I'm pretty sure I watched, unless The Flash, and I've talked enough about The Flash. So we're gonna end. I really, like I said before, after Arrow season 6 came out, I stopped watching, and there's not much to say about that season in general. But instead of that, we're going to talk about the next crossover. The crossover that really, I'm going to be honest with you, this crossover really killed it. The crossover that killed the Arrowverse was coming up in the biggest way yet, and nobody was freaking prepared for it. And here it came. Oh, you thought the first crossover with all of them there was cheesy? This one's the worst one. Why? Well, it's called Elseworld. Now, you expect yourself to be on the different planet or different world. No, they're just on the same Earth that they were on before, but it's switched up around, so it's their way switched up around. Yeah, it really made no sense. I mean, to try to hype up the Crisis on Infinite Earths, imagine if we were on a different Earth. Imagine if Batwoman was on a different Earth. And I'm gonna get to Batwoman coming up next, but to be honest, this really kind of tricked out, and yeah, let's get into Batwoman. Well, when Batwoman premiered, I'm gonna be honest, I had high hopes for this show. I was like, maybe it might be like Arrow, the first season of it. I said, and I even read the comic on the character. Her story was super interesting and could make a totally good series. I mean, but when I watched the show, man, is this show garbage. And I know people said at the end of the show it got good. I'm like, no, it didn't get good at the end of the show. I said it wasted my time. The villain, which is Alice, I'm going to spoil the show if you haven't seen it already, which you shouldn't even. It's basically her sister, and I knew that from day one. I said, that's her sister right there. I said, that's nothing new. They didn't try to expand it. They just said, oh, her sister's dead, but that's her sister right there. That's the way we can go with that, which was pretty stupid. I thought in my head, I'm like, it's her sister probably. Comes to the end of the episode. It's her sister. I'm like, no, duh. I mean, like I said, Batwoman's an interesting character. She wasn't related to Bruce Wayne. She had no continuation with Bruce Wayne or no ties to Bruce Wayne. And her story was so smart. It was like basically they said, okay, instead of making her this one female independent character, let's just put her dad kind of mix Batgirl with Supergirl and make it into a whole TV show. That's what they basically did. Want me to explain? Her dad in this show is like, used to be this old FBI government, like, well, actually, he was in the army. That's true. That did come from the comics. He was an ex-army member. But they made him in charge of a head security called the Crows, which was pretty stupid again, because that's kind of ripping off Jim Gordon. Just kind of ripping off Jim Gordon in general, and making Batwoman Batgirl, kind of. And they made Bruce Wayne her cousin, which he never, in general, really was in the comics, if I believe. The ones I read, he was never really her cousin. And her story arc was so much better in the comics. Like, instead of Batman trying to save her, what happened was that she got kidnapped by these people. These bad guys who were after her father and holding them for ransom. Killed her mother and security guard right in front of her. I can see that he wasn't trying to go that dark, but God, was that even a better plot line? When she comes back, she literally is fighting off a criminal that Batman was supposed to stop. That's when she runs into Batwoman, and he literally says to her, don't make it a habit. That's what happens. What happens in this show? No, none of that happens. You know, Batman's basically her cousin, you know, Bruce Wayne is, who's pretty stupid again. The show went off the rails trying to do this, and it really didn't help it. So, yeah, Batwoman in general was garbage to begin off. If I even said it, Batwoman was garbage. It's a garbage show. This is the weirdest crossover ever. You know why? It's supposed to take place on Infinite Earth. But do you know where it takes place on? Not the Infinite Earth, because all the Infinite Earths are dead. Yeah. Sure, we got some cameos from different universes to make the Arrowverse seem even more convoluted. But in general, this one sucked because they brought in Black Lightning, a solo character, like they did everybody else, and didn't make him a pariah. What was the point of him? He was doing all good in his own solo series, but no, we need to make him a pariah because he's on his solo series. His show did well as a solo series and not trying to prove anything to the Arrowverse, but they had to add it in. And then, Clark Kent and Arrow and Oliver and Supergirl and Batwoman really didn't work together. They're supposed to make it out as this kind of plot line. They know each other. In general, like they're the best friends because they've seen each other more than once. And that's not true. They didn't even bond for that many minutes. They brought in Kevin Conroy for like the small moments and killed him off for, I don't even know, apparently no reason. And that's pretty stupid. I mean, like I said before, you're supposed to take place on Crisis on Infinite Earth. X-Crisis did better than this, and they were on the Infinite Earth. Why not have us on the Infinite Earth instead of us sitting in one location with people talking on the screen? This may go down in history because, in general, this is how it's going to end for the Arrowverse. And made to go down in history as that kind of show. The CW did this. They made the greatest ideal ever. Put together all TV shows from comic books of DCU and make them all their own universe like the Marvel Cinematic U. And what they do? They did okay at first. And it went downhill by making these crossovers, bringing in characters, and basically didn't serve no plot or purpose to it, just for a couple scenes. Like Brendan Routh's Superman. He got killed off. Imagine if he was in the final fight too. Imagine if Black Lightning was in the final fight. You're serious here? You didn't want to add any of them characters on? And Black Lightning in general has been struggling since they moved his schedule. I mean, wouldn't it be nice for his schedule to take over with Arrow left behind? But no. Like I said before, this show took a whole, the CW verse, as now they like to call it, took a whole turn, with The Flash having an up and down season and everything. But this is how it ends, and this is the downfall of the Arrowverse in general. With shows like Lois, Superman, and Lois about to come out, the Arrowverse has been on the decline ever since after that. And in general, I don't know what they can do to pick their show and their stuff back up to make it good again. But after this, there's probably nowhere they're going to come back because, like I said before, they've canceled Arrow. And Black Lightning is sometime sooner, because I even wrote in a comment, people were slamming me for it. I said, I don't like how CW treats Black Lightning. And people were like, what do you mean? What I'm meaning by is, Black Lightning does not get all of the stuff that the other superhero shows get. Like, Supergirl got, like, this whole stuff going on. Like, The Flash is the biggest show in the Arrowverse now. In general, it is. People still watch The Flash. You guys had Black Lightning in, well, I'm pretty sure the Flash time slot. I get why you could possibly move it because Legends of Tomorrow. But Legends of Tomorrow, when it first premiered, it was like a movie kind of made like. Supergirl was promoted bigger, and so was Batwoman, my bad. They were all promoted bigger than Black Lightning. Black Lightning got a small teaser, and really wasn't giving enough to grow with, because like anytime I seen them, they was like slamming me saying all the CW shows are doing this. But do you know what they didn't have to do? Sure, Legends of Tomorrow moved time slots, but you could have left Black Lightning in its own time slot with the Flash. I get so you don't have to compete with it, but put it in its own time slot, because Legends of Tomorrow in general, I said before, you either hate it or love it, and I hate that show. It's not good, in my opinion. And I don't get why it hasn't ended yet, because what's left for Legends of Tomorrow? That's my question. What is left for Legends of Tomorrow? Dude, let me know in the comments if anyone even reads the comments. Let me know what is left for Legends of Tomorrow, guys. Because I don't know what is left for the Legends of Tomorrow show to do. Like, all their villains are basically killed off. It's just them going through time, going through space and time and all that bull crap. Ain't nothing else gonna happen for that show. Nothing will. But if I leave that show, I don't even watch it. So that's why I really didn't go into full depth of Legends of Tomorrow. And I know people will say, well, you should do all of it. I'm not gonna do all that. I've seen Legends of Tomorrow. I watched some of the seasons. I really didn't like it, and I watched this season, and I still didn't like it. It's like that. The show didn't need to come back. Basically, didn't need to come back. So, what's my opinion on the Arrowverse? Has it changed? My opinion has changed over time. It started off as a brilliant universe connected, and then they messed it up coming at this point. But that's what happened with the Arrowverse. That's the way it is. I mean, that's how the Arrowverse basically its downfall is. I'm not saying the Arrowverse died or the rise and fall of it. It is the rise and fall of it, but I'm calling this video the downfall of the Arrowverse. And this is the end of part 2. This is the end of the video. There will be no more Arrowverse videos unless the Arrowverse pops back up and does something horrible again. I'll be on it. But so, yeah, that's all for this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Please hit the like button and subscribe and post for notifications. Thank you guys for watching.